Hello, my lovely learners. I hope that today is treating you beautifully. We are going to do 2 lessons today. So it's going to combine lesson 10 and lesson 11. Okay, so they're both pretty short readings, and then they have 2 questions to go along with them, and then the science questions, just kind of like we did yesterday. Okay, so this is going to be our video for Wednesday. So just follow along. So I'm going to get rid of my video, and we're going to focus on the screen. Okay. So looking at the first reading, right, we are on page 23, okay, and it's called Animal Life Cycles. So a lot of these readings are science readings. So this one is talking about life cycles. We've learned about life cycles of plants, we've learned about life cycles of different animals, and this one is focusing on, if you look over here, the life cycle of a grasshopper. So it starts with the eggs, and then it moves to the nymph, and then it talks about an adult grasshopper. So it goes through these 3 main stages. And just the rest of this short little article talks about the development, how there's a metamorphosis. And if you think back to the readings that we have, if you don't understand the word metamorphosis, it actually tells you that it's the process of changing form. Right? So you need to go back and use those context clues. This one gives you the definition. So thinking about how do we figure out the words, this one you have the definition. So as you keep reading, this will help you answer the questions. Looking at the bottom, what you need to be doing is you need to be sequencing the life cycle of a beetle. So you might not know exactly what the life cycle of a beetle is, but based off of your reading at the top and based off of your examples at the bottom, we know that in a metamorphosis, there are 3 stages: egg, nymph, and adult. So you have to think, okay, which one is the one that's going to be first? So you would put maybe, I don't know, a 1 here. And then if you think that the next one is this one, you would put a 2 there, okay? But those are just examples, okay? So you need to make sure you're reading, you're looking at the pictures on the side to help you answer that question, and really just focusing on what you are supposed to be answering. The question that is taken again right from that science MCAS talks again about life cycles, right? This one instead is focusing on the life cycle of a ladybug. So what you need to do is you need to look back at that previous page, look at your example of a life cycle of a beetle, and look at your example of your life cycle of a grasshopper in order to answer this question. So it's asking you which of the following must occur between stage 3 and stage 4 of the life cycle. So we're looking at stage 4 and stage 3. So stage 3, we have a full-grown, not a full-grown, I'm sorry, wrong word. We know that this is what a ladybug normally looks like, right? So we have to think, okay, these look kind of like eggs. So what would this be? So what is happening between these 2 phases? Is it birth, death, development, or reproduction? Okay, so you need to, again, looking back at that text to help you answer this question. Moving on to lesson 11, okay, same thing, the lessons at the top do not correspond to the actual lessons. So this one talks about inherited and learned traits. That's similar to the adaptations that we did yesterday. So it says, inherited and learned traits. Why are offspring similar to their parents? So if we're unsure what the word offspring means, right? If I don't know it, I could maybe underline it. But looking at the rest, it says their parents. So my assumption would be that an offspring is like a child of a parent, okay? And it talks about traits. So if you're looking, it says a characteristic that a parent organism passes on to its offspring or children is called an inherited trait. So something that's passed down from a parent to a child. So for example, you might inherit a family heirloom, something important from your family. Your parent or family member will give that to you. The other portion of this is learned traits. Okay, and those, it says, are behaviors that an animal offspring learns by observing parents. So it gives you the example of kittens learning to hunt by watching their mother hunt. Right? They're watching, they're learning, and they're growing. So to move on, right, you have to identify the following traits as inherited or learned. So you're going to write one of those words. So you're either going to write inherited in the box, on the line, I mean, or you're going to write learned on the box. So it says the shape of a woodpecker's beak. Is that something that can be taught, or is that something that's kind of passed down from generation to generation? Well, I know that you can't really teach someone's body to do something different, right? You can't teach your nose to change. So that would have to be an inherited trait for number one. Okay, so read the rest of them. So for number one, if I were to write it, I would say inherited. For number 2 through 5, just going along and thinking, okay, which one can it be something that is learned, or is it something that is passed down? Okay, and then again, another question right from our science MCAS exams. It says the diagram below shows 4 types of finches, okay, which kind of corresponds to what this question just asked, right? The shape of a woodpecker's beak. So this is saying the type of finch labeled W changed its traits. So this was the original. These are what it evolved into over time, okay? So it's saying, why do these finches look different? Why do you think there was a change that occurred? So if you're looking, I notice that the beak in W looks different from the beak in X. If I were comparing, I would say the beak is smaller in X than it is in W. Again, same thing here, the beak is smaller than W. And this one, I would say the beak is larger than W. So it's saying, why would these changes happen? Would it be to look like other birds? Would a finch change the shape of its beak in order to look like something else? Would it change to their environment where they're living? Would it copy the behaviors of other birds? So would it change to look like everyone else, or to do the same things as everyone else? So if one bird is eating flowers, is it going to change so it can eat flowers as well? Or is it to help them survive in their environments? So these two, A and C, kind of go together, and B and D kind of go together. So you need to think which one would be an accurate reason for the bird's beaks to change over time. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this packet, okay? We have one more lesson that we're gonna do tomorrow, and we're actually going to be combining Thursday and Friday because they're 2 writing pieces. So it just kind of makes more sense to combine them into one day where I can explain both of Thursday's work and Friday's work. This way, it just keeps everything a little bit more streamlined for you guys. So I hope that you are reading these questions and really using the knowledge from class. You're reaching out to your teachers. If you know that your friends don't know about our YouTube channel, but make sure that you tell them. Make sure that you're subscribing or you're commenting, and definitely don't be afraid to ask us questions. And make sure you're watching the video that Mrs. Oliveira put up of her dinosaurs learning, and that you're doing the math puzzles and the ELA daily fix-its every day that they're posted, and just definitely keep an eye out for new content. All right, guys, we miss you so much. Bye.